Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as Quiet Day in US. It is observed on every year on February 25th. As the name suggests, Quiet Day is about taking a pause and appreciating the sound of silence. Noise is everywhere, be it on the train, in a busy office, in bus, in the pub, in the school, college, classroom, or even at home. Modern life is noisy. It seems like there is simply no way out of it. And we are always plugged in to the gadgets, using headphones, earphones, and always listening to one or other, either to the noises or to the music. And simply, there is no way out. Being in constant presence of noise can be overwhelming, and it is important to take a break every once in a while. We know that quiet is good for both the body and the mind. Peace calms us down and helps us recenter ourselves. For the longest time, quietness has been a form of praying and meditating. Most religious sects advocate for quiet and the wonders it can do for one's emotional and physical well-being. Our voices and attractive interaction with others have served to keep us spiritually silent and separated from the world around us. In some odd ways, from the very people we interact with every day, Quiet Day was established to remind us to slow down and give silence a chance. In India and many other Asian countries, there are meditation retreats where time is spent in quiet contemplation, sometimes for as long as 10 days. These are Vipassana retreats, a term meaning to see things as they are. This is an ancient Buddhist practice that is popular even today. While Quiet Day is just one day, the principles included in these retreats can be applied to your daily life too. Surrounding ourselves with peace and clarity can open our minds to new experiences and inspire us to lead more meaningful ways. Every day we are surrounded by the chatter of TV, radio, and also our loved and unloved ones. Quiet Day is a day to engage in little quiet contemplation give our cords a rest, and simply listen to the world around us and connect with it. On this day, take a little time off yourself and listen to wise voice inside your head. The first silent movie ever made in the West, The Great Train Robbery, was released in 1903. It is the first silent movie Indian full feature was ever made. Even before that, also Indian movies were there. But this is a full feature film movie in India. Raja Harishchandra in 1913. Composers explored the expressive potential of silence in the music in 20th century. A documentary portraying the spiritual and physical benefits of silence is released, named In Pursuit of Silence in 2015. So, why do we need silence or quiet days? As adults, we need the maternal part of ourselves to step in, prescribe slower, quieter days, and to rescue from the oppressive ideal of a busy life, which can be very exhausting. Try to stay silent for an entire day to get better at listening before you speak. Stay silent to learn to think through. When you face a problem, it's beneficial to first reflect in silence before acting. That way, you can fully assess the situation and then make an intelligent, useful move. Plan for it, make it priority, teach the people you live with about quiet time, and create at least one daily ritual that promotes quiet. That's why we see, especially in the Hindu culture and Sanatan Dharma, there are Maun Vrats. Mauna Vratam, they say in Telugu, and Maun Vrat in Hindi. To take up rituals of being silent for half day, whole day, or number of days, or couple of days. That helps us in embracing silence and also to concentrate on ourselves and on the environment. So spend some time in quietness, head out to a park or walk among the trees to experience a few moments of quiet. This is a great way to celebrate Quiet Day. If you cannot spend a day in complete silence, try lowering the volume on your devices. Put your cell phone on silent, listen to music at a low volume, and speak as infrequently as you can. Spend some time meditating on Quiet Day. If you cannot visit a Vipassana retreat, bring the retreat to you. Meditate. Quiet people are passionate about creating stuff and have a rich inner life. Being silent gives the brain a chance to wonder and reflect. Some of the smartest are quiet. Shyness is a learned behavioral problem that makes it difficult to socialize. Being quiet doesn't mean you are shy. Quiet people are observant and have a natural thirst for knowledge. They are quick learners. Being quiet doesn't mean one is agoraphobic. It means they prefer their own company. It's good for us. Peace is good for all, for our mental and physical well being. It can help calm you down, manage stress, and induce a feeling of positivity. Quiet day allows us to block all the unnecessary noises, and connect with our inner selves in a day for introspection. It's a day to recenter if you have been feeling agitated and restless for a while. Quiet day can help you recenter and find our purposes again. See what you can do on this day to center yourself. Today is also commemorated as Soviet Occupation Day in Georgia. Soviet Occupation Day is observed in the country of Georgia on February 25th every year. It is a memorial day that commemorates the invasion of Georgia by the Red Army in 1921. The holiday was first established in 2010 with its observance in 2011. The Georgian announcement of the holiday was in line with Moldova's own Soviet occupation day, meant to remember the Soviets' occupation on June 28, 1940. Moldova's Soviet occupation day, however, were repealed by its judiciary in 2010. Latvia, another country that was occupied by the Soviet Union, has its own day of remembrance on June 17th every year. Georgia is a country in the Caucasus region. It is a representative democracy and dates its origins back to classical antiquity. Parts of Georgia became part of the Russian Empire in 1783 and continued to function as part of the empire under its dissolution following the 1917 Russian Revolution. Soon after, Georgia came to constitute a part of the short-lived Transcaucasian Democratic Federative Republic (TDFR) on April 22, 1918. Georgia declared independence a little over a month later on May 26. The country did not get to enjoy sovereignty for long. The Soviet invasion of Georgia was a military campaign that saw the Soviet Red Army invade and occupy the Democratic Republic of Georgia, in short known as DRG, on February 25, 1921, and install a Bolshevik regime in the country. The invasion came from a newly established expansionist policy by Soviet Russia, which aimed to expand Russia control to the territories that were part of the former Russian Empire. Interestingly, the invasion was not entirely agreed upon in Moscow. In fact, Russia had even recognized Georgia's independence the year prior. This invasion was orchestrated by two Georgian born Soviet officials, Joseph Stalin and Sergei Ozankits, under the pretext of supporting working class rebellions in the country. Georgia regained independence months before the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991. The Georgian Supreme Council declared independence on April 9. Soviet Occupation Day was first established in 2010, with its celebration in 2011. Parts of Georgia became part of the Russian Empire in 1789. Georgia gains independence after the Russian Revolution in 1970. The Soviet Red Army invades Georgia in 1921. Georgia declares independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. Georgia is currently an independent country and free country. Georgian is the official language of Georgia. Latvia was part of the Soviet Union earlier. So Georgia has a rich cultural and political history. Spend the day reading up on it and watching videos about it. The Soviet Union was former superpower and its action had a huge impact on the history. Understand how it came to be and why it did and what it did. Soviet occupation has had a lasting impact on Georgian politics. It might be interesting to learn more about it, such as how Russia continues to aggravate Georgia to this day. Local Georgians refer to the country as Sakartvelo. Georgians are said to have been the first people to produce wine. The Georgian language is only spoken in Georgia. Georgia is world renowned for its folk tradition of polyphonic singing. Georgia is home to Kreta and Kutaisi, some of the Europe's oldest cities. Soviet is an important event in the Georgian history. Soviet Occupation Day marks the important moment in Georgian history. The day serves as an important reminder of the years of occupation. Georgians lived under the Cold War, in which Soviet Union played a central role, still continues to shape world politics today. The annexation of Georgia was a significant point in Soviet history. It's an opportunity to learn about Georgian history. Georgia's culture is powerful and its political history is rich. Soviet Occupation Day is a perfect opportunity to start reading up on it. Today is also commemorated as Pistol Patent Day in US. Every year on February, this day is celebrated. It has been almost 500 years since the very first pistols emerged. Pistols, revolvers, and other sidearms have played a significant part in shaping how civilizations evolved. New patents were submitted as centuries passed by giving birth to modern sidearms. Pistol Patent Day is observed to commemorate the day Samuel Colt received the patent for the revolver in 1835. On this day, we look at the life and times of far-sighted genius Samuel Colt. The word pistol is said to have first emerged in 16th century Europe when the first ever handheld firearms were manufactured and designed to be shot from horsebacks. The word is said to have derived from the French word pistolet. Another story suggests that it may have come from the Czech word pistola, which translates to whistle or pipe. Some also say that pistols came from the word pistoli, pistoles, which is in turn comes from the name of the city well known during Renaissance era gunsmithing pistola. In the 19th century, revolvers emerged. Samuel Colt in 1835 received his patent for the first ever revolver. A year later, he received his patent for the American model. The firearm included basic principles of revolving. So the firearm included basic principles of revolving, breech loading. In his patent, he included the folding trigger firearm, which was named Colt Patterson. That Colt never took credit for inventing the revolver. He believed that he simply designed a more practical version of Collier's revolving flintlock. Colt's new design had interchangeable parts, and the percussion cap made ignition more reliable, faster, and safer compared to the flintlock. In 1916, the Steyr M1912 was born in Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Steyr M1912 was capable of firing fully automatic rounds. This was a revolutionary invention that changed the way firearms were perceived and paved the way for modern weapons. Since then, many ultra modern, sophisticated, fully automatic handguns have come up that have made people enjoy practicing shooting extremely happy. Pistol Patent Day was created to mark the anniversary of the day Samuel Colt received his first pistol patent. On this day, people look at the life and times of Samuel Colt and take inspiration to come out with remarkable new patents. So, firearms named pistolets emerged in Europe in 1550 AD. Samuel Colt submits his first patent for the revolver in 1835. The Steyr M1912, capable of firing fully automatic rounds, is created in 1916, and Pistol Patent Day is created to commemorate the receiving of the first pistol patent by Samuel Colt in 1980s. The Longjiang hand cannon dates back to 1288 and it is the oldest gun. It was discovered in the Arching district, which was a famous battleground in 1288. Revolvers and pistols are both known for their advantages and disadvantages. The revolver is advantageous due to its simplicity, while pistols are known to be capable of holding more ammo, which is effective for quick reloading. The 45 caliber Colt revolver known as Peacemaker was sold for $242,000 in 1873, the first pistol. So, what better way to observe Pistol Day than to read and learn more about pistols? Read books, articles, or blogs on pistols and use this day to expand your knowledge on pistols and their history. Many of us don't know about Pistol Patent Day and its significance, so let's everyone know the importance of the firearms. According to thermodynamics, are a special type of piston engine where the bullet acts as a piston. Due to a better volume ratio, firearms with long barrels are more efficient. Barrel heat loss is less in large firearms as they have better volume to surface ratio. Broadly classified guns are of two types: long guns, which include rifles, and short guns and handguns, which include revolvers and pistols. The clock pistol has a safety on the trigger itself that ensures that a finger must be on the trigger for the gun to be fired. Pistol Patent Day gives us a chance to read and expand our knowledge on pistols, their history, types, and how they impacted society. This day allows us to set aside our monotonous daily routine and spend time reading about historical facts. Pistol Patent Day is observed to commemorate the submission of the first pistol patent by Samuel Colt. Colt's ingenious patents paved the way for the future for semi-automatic and automatic firearms. This day acts as an inspiration for creators, designers, and inventors. While we read the success of stories of inventors like Samuel Colt, we tend to forget the hardships and struggles faced by these inventors. Initially, when Colt is submitted his first patent, there was no underwriters to fund the machinery that could mass produce these pistols. Colt had already spoken. Colt had to take many loans, travel to many destinations, and convince many bureaucrats and businessmen before his venture became a success. This day serves as a tribute to his great visionary. Today is also commemorated as People Power Revolution in Philippines. People Power Revolution Day is an important day observed every year in Philippines on February 25th. This day commemorates the public demonstrations that took place between February 27th, 22nd, and 25, 1986. The aftermath of this revolution led to the deposition of a tyrannical government and the beginning of a new political dispensation in the Philippines. The movement was internationally celebrated. The revolution also inspired other countries that adopted same non-violent approach. Between February 22nd and 25th, 1986, a series of peaceful demonstrations took place in Metro Manila on a now famous avenue called Epifanio de los Santos Avenue. popularly known as EDSA. These non-violent demonstrations happened in protest of the oppressive and tyrannical government of Presidents Ferdinand Marcos. During his 20-year rule, he declared martial law and poverty levels in the Philippines skyrocketed. His rule was fraught with human rights violation, electoral malpractice, and violence against members of the opposition. So, the main event that sparked the demonstrations was the Philippines military assassination of Senator Benigno Aquino, or Ninoy Aquino, as he was more commonly known. This act shocked and spurred the people into action. For 3 days, people from all walks of life gathered at EDSA. Finally, on the morning of February 25th, 1986, at a place called Club Filipino, the widow of the late Ninoy Aquino was sworn as the president of Philippines. In a symbolic move, the Bible on which the oath of office was sworn was held by her mother-in-law, the mother of Ninoy Aquino. At midnight, Marcos and his family departed the Philippines and never returned. The Spanish colonial period ends with the Philippine Revolution in 1898. War breaks out as America refuses to recognize the first Philippines Republic in 1899. Marcos is selected. Marcos is elected president of the Philippines in 1965. Martial law is declared in Philippines in 1973. The People Power Revolution takes place over the course of 3 days. People Power in 1986. The People Over Power Revolution declared a non-working holiday in Philippines in 2002. Filipino is spelled with an F because of the Spanish name for the Philippines. Las Islas Filipinas. The Philippines has about 175 languages, but the official language are Filipino and English. The Philippines that is located in South Asia. The People Power Revolution, also known as EDSA Revolution, And the Philippine Revolution of 1986 was a series of popular demonstrations in the Philippines that began in 1983. The Tagalogs are the largest ethnic group in the Philippines. The Philippines was discovered in 1520 by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan and colonized by Spain from 1565 to 1898. Following the Spanish-American War, it became territory of United States. So celebrate with Philippines. Don't let them celebrate alone. Wish all Filipinos, a happy holiday and send a goodwill message online or offline. If you want to know more about People Power anniversary, read articles, newspapers, reports, books on it. So it is the best way to celebrate people who. It's time to share what you have learned with others, have a conversation in person, or use the hashtag People Power Revolution in our online or offline posts. So keep the flag up when the Filipino flag is upside down. It means that the country is at war. Instead of saying no to an individual or request, Filipinos prefer to say maybe, all right, or let's see to avoid offending. When viewed from above, Manila City looks like a coffin with a cross. President Marcos, even buried after 30 years, though natural. So instead of saying no to an invitation or request, Filipinos prefer to say maybe, all right, or let's see to avoid suffering. When viewed from the above, Manila City Hall looks like a coffin. When viewed from above, Manila City Hall looks like a coffin with a cross. Though President Marconis died in 1986, his body remained on the ice until he was buried in 2016. Even though world resolution is usually associated with violence and bloodshed, the same of Philippines took a different route. Without weapons and military might, they fought for the change they desired. Thankfully, the revolution did not lie in a bloody war as many others have. Rather, it led to peaceful installation of new president and vice. We tend to forget that the people are an important element in any democracy, and they have the power to make or break governments. People Power Anniversary reminds of this. Today is also commemorated as National Chocolate Covered Nut Day, which is celebrated on February 25th every year. Do you know that it has been almost 100 years since the first chocolate covered peanuts were sold? Chocolate is something we all love, and one of the ways to make it even better is to add yet another thing that we adore, that is nuts. National Chocolate Covered Nut Day is dedicated to the pleasing combination of chocolate with the nuts like peanuts, almonds, apricots, cashews, and hazelnuts, and celebrates these tasteful treats that are enjoyed by people of all ages. Chocolate is said to have originated in Mesoamerica, where the Aztecs are said to have grown cacao plants from which they made chocolate. It is believed that the Aztec drank chocolate as part of rituals. Some even say that it was an ingredient in medicines. The Mayans even referred to chocolate as a drink of gods. In those times, chocolate was not eaten as solid food, nor was it sweet. It was consumed in liquid form and was sweetened, which gave it a bitter taste. Later in 18, later in early 1500s, Herman Cortes, an explorer from Spain, introduced chocolate to Spain. It is said that Cortes was on a visit to Mesoamerica when a Mayan emperor gifted Cortes a cup of cocoa. Cortes then sowed cocoa seeds in his hometown, and thus the cocoa plantation rose to prominence in Spain. It is said that the mixture of chocolate and hazelnut happened during 1800s in the northwest Italian region of Piedmont. The paste was called Giangiula or Gianduja. This was a way before even milk chocolate came into existence. Milk chocolate was born in 1876 when the Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter added milk powder to chocolate In the 1900s, many companies such as Nestle started mass producing chocolate covered nuts, and it soon became a favorite snack among people of all ages. The Blumenthal Chocolate Company is said to have created the first ever chocolate covered peanuts in 1925 when they released their product Goobers. Later in 1961, Blumenthal was acquired by Ward Foods. Boiled peanuts are known as goobers or goober peas in the South. The category, known as sugar confectionery, covers all sweet confections, including sugar, candy, bubblegum, and chocolate. So, chocolates are something that only gets sweeter when shared. So, do a good deed and give boxes of chocolates to foster home or a retirement home nearby. If this is too elaborate, you can simply donate chocolates within your community. Chocolate is said to have derived from the Aztec word zocal, zocatl, which referred the drink made from the cacao beans. Theobroma cacao, the Latin name for the cacao plant, roughly translates to the food of the gods. Joseph Fry created the chocolate bar. Fry is said to be the first person who made the first ever solid chocolate bar. According to 16th century Aztec document, chocolate was once used as currency in the Latin America. Rodolph Lindt created the conching machine. Lindt, the founder of Lindt Chocolates, is said to have designated the first ever conching machine. So, National Chocolate Covered Nut Day gives us a chance to relish delicious chocolate nuts. We often get busy with our lives and forget to treat ourselves with something that we love. This day is a day to keep stress aside and indulge in some nutty chocolates. Chocolate covered nuts are something we all love, yet we believe that it does not get the recognition it deserves. This day allows us to show some love to these tasty treats that we all love. This day is special because people celebrate this day by sending and sharing chocolate covered nuts. This day gives us a chance to give chocolates to someone, especially kids, that put a big grin on their faces. Today is also commemorated as Let's All Eat Right Day in US, which is commemorated on every February 25th every year as it marks the birthday of Adil Davis, a famous nutritionist, author, and game changer in the nutrition movement throughout the 1900s. So you have probably heard it said, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and the dinner like a pauper. Well, this wise adage can be credited to the Davis herself. As important to human beings are air and water, and in some ways, one might argue that food tops the list because it can affect us ways beyond just the physical. Food can engage or change your mood, speak to your very soul, and make a difference in your self perception. Thus, on some level, we all want to eat right and are open to making changes that may bring us to good health. So, it is only fitting that there be a day to celebrate eating right, which will hopefully put us all on a lifelong path of developing a healthier relationship with our food. Nutrition itself has been around as long as humans have. However, it was not until 400 BC that Greek physician Hippocrates observed the impact food has on physical health, especially when it comes to the prevention and cure of illness. The ancient world foods used for medicinal properties, such as using garlic to cure stomach ailments, and the birth of nutritional science itself. It's very recent. It began with the discovery of vitamins, which were synthesized as their effects on disease is studied. The name vitamin is derived from the words vital and amine coined by Dr. Casimir Frank in 1912. The onset of the World War I caused widespread fear of food shortages and forced nutritional scientists to focus on food as a preventative for diseases. Hence, the first recommendation dietary allowances (RDAs) were issued around this time. Since then, nutritional science has been a burgeoning field of study, and none of us are untouched by it. So, while it is not known when exactly Let's All Eat Right Day was initially celebrated, but we know it falls on the birthday of Adele Davis as a way of honoring her work and the legacy she left. With the best-selling books like Eat, Let's Eat Right to Keep Fit, 1954, and Let's Cook It Right, 1947, Davis' research and publications has a huge impact on the everyday American consumer. Even with her fair share of controversy, her focus was on championing whole foods over processed foods, with additives and advocating for the importance of taking nutritional supplements to help prevent disease and potentially other social ills. The early 1900s was the time when vitamins were introduced and the concept of their value as dietary supplements was on the rise. It created a new niche in the market for health products backed by science. In October 1994, Congress approved the Dietary and Supplement Health and Education Act to regulate standards of nutritional supplements. Today is also commemorated as Kuwait National Day. This day commemorates the day Sheikh Abdullah Al Samim Al Sabah became the ruler of Kuwait in 1950. Al Sabah was an exceptional leader. During his reign, he signed a treaty that secured Kuwait's independence from Britain, putting an end to its status as a British protectorate in 1961. It was also during Al Sabah's rule that the Constitution of Kuwait and the Parliament of Kuwait were formally established. The first celebrations were held in 1963. People in Kuwait celebrate this day by going on different places, watching fireworks at night, hanging out with friends, and more. People decorate their houses with colorful lights, flags, and even candles are lit at dinner time. The historical places like Kuwait National Museum, Al Bahar Entertainment, Historical Village, Mirror House, and Kuwait Towers are decorated with light. Flags are hoisted in buildings and displayed in public spaces. The streets are alive to the early hours of the next morning each year, and National Day is a public holiday in Kuwait. In the early 17th century, Kuwait was established as a small fishing village with a tiny population. By the end of the 18th century, Kuwait began to flourish and became a major trading and boat building site. In 1756, the Al Sabah family assumed power to rule Kuwait. Kuwait became independent in 1961, and Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim Al Sabah from the Al Sabah family became emperor. This event is celebrated as National Day in Kuwait. The British protected the country against the invasion by the Turks in the same year. The history of Kuwait National Day can be traced back to 1950 when the Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim Al Sabah became the ruler of Kuwait. Born in 1895, Al Sabah was the first son of Salim Al Mubarak Al Sabah from the time he ascended in the throne in 1950. Al Sabah distinguished himself as a unique leader of Kuwait. Unlike past rulers, Al Sabah was determined to end British rule in Kuwait, which was finally accomplished in 1961. After signing a treaty, Kuwait ceased to be a protectorate of the British. Because of this, he is regarded as the founder of modern Kuwait. On November 11, 1962, A.I. Sabah signed into law the Constitution of Kuwait. Al Sabah unfortunately died in 1965 from a heart attack which he has suffered during an opening session of the National Assembly. Officially known as the State of Kuwait, Kuwait is a country located in Western Asia. It shares borders with Iraq and Saudi Arabia, as well as a maritime border with Iran. Home to the world's sixth largest oil reserves, Kuwait is the fifth richest country in the world. Its currency, the dinar, is the most valued currency in the entire world. Kuwait National Day is always celebrated with pomp and excitement. Public events are often held as people gather in parks, restaurants, beaches, and on the streets to commemorate this beautiful day. On the streets of Kuwait, the country's national flag is displayed with pride, and official receptions are organized by embassies and consulates and permanent missions. The Emir of Kuwait is working very hard to make the country a major economic force and thriving democracy he has approved, and the development plans that will be built to promote Kuwait as a global financial and commercial center. These projects are supposed to bring investment and become resources for the citizens. Along with this, the Emir is working tirelessly to build national unity and solidarity among the people. Thus far, Kuwait has emerged as a fair, just, and tolerant nation. From the day of its independence, Kuwait has made great progress and achieved prosperity. Normally, most countries celebrate their national day on the same day they gained independence. For Kuwait, it would mean the national day is celebrated on June 19, marking the date of independence in 1961. However, the first national holiday actually took place on this day, 1962. The holiday was moved to February due to extreme heat in June, and since 1963, the National Day has been celebrated on February 25th to mark the date that Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim Al Sabah came to power in 1950. Kuwait City is founded as a fishing village in 1613. Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim Al Sabah becomes the ruler of Kuwait in 1756. The East India Company secures the sea routes between Kuwait, India, and the east coast of Africa. In 1792, Kuwait becomes a protectorate of Great Britain in 1899. Kuwait experiences a period of prosperity driven by oil and its liberal atmosphere. In between 1946 to 1982, Kuwait has the highest Human Development Index ranking in the Arab world, which is the peak of prosperity in between 2006 and 2009. Kuwait International Day is celebrated with feasts, family get-togethers, public gatherings, and fireworks. As part of the 2019 National Day celebrations, Kuwait registered a world record for the longest flag. Over 4,000 students paraded with a 6,624-foot Kuwait flag, which was officially recognized as Guinness World Records. The color's meaning came from a poem by Safi al-Din al-Hali. White are our deeds, black are our battles, green is our land, and red are our swords. So in the 21st century, it is the 21st richest country in the world. The 3,284-foot high Burj Mubarak Al Kabir is expected to be completed in 2030, and Kuwait is building the world's tallest skyscraper. 73.4% of its population is classified as obese, and Kuwait is the world's 11th most obese country. Around 70% of the Kuwait population are expats, are a minority. Kuwaitis women got the vote in 2006. They took part in the elections for the first time after a long fight for suffrage. Today is also commemorated as EDSA Revolution Day in Philippines. The revolution is also known as February Revolution, and the People Power Revolution protests took to the streets in Manila, the capital city of Philippines, to demonstrate against dictatorship and restore democracy in the country. EDSA revolution is one of the most significant people's movements of the 20th century. EDSA revolution anniversary commemorates the efforts taken to bring back democracy to the Philippines and encourage citizens to participate in democratic movements, ensure that their democratic rights are respected, and foster a culture of communication and accountability from the government. The EDSA revolution took place in the capital city of Manila from February 22nd to February 25th, 1986. The people of the Philippines remember the EDSA revolution as a prolonged campaign of civil resistance against the regime, violence, and electoral fraud. The peaceful revolution ended with the departure of Ferdinand Marcos, bringing an end of its 2 decade long stunt as the dictator of the Philippines and restoration of democracy in the country. It is known as EDSA revolution because the demonstrations took place along the Epifano de los Santos Avenue road in the Manila city. This remarkable aspect of the EDSA revolution is the sheer number of people that participated in the revolution. More than 2 million civilians, political and military leaders and religious leaders joined hands to bring democracy and democratic elections to the country. The 3 day revolution resulted in three important events. Ferdinand Marcos gave up his dictatorship after 20 years of misrule. The ruler and his family were exiled to Hawaii, and Corazon Aquino took office as the country's 11th president. Since the success of EDSA revolution, the Philippines has remained a democracy. As the news of Marcos fleeing the country reached the demonstrators, many celebrated the downfall of the dictator by dancing and singing, and some even stormed the place which had thus far been off limits in the General Republic. The Philippines' victory in achieving democratic rule not only earned praises from the first world countries, but also became a model for modern day revolutions. It is taught that the word that the greater good can be achieved without violence and bloodshed. Marcos defeats the incumbent president, Desado Macapeg, in 1965, and Ferdinand Marcos comes to power. Although allegations of fraud and misconduct are reported, Marcos wins the elections and re-elections in 1969. City's civil and martial unrest for justification of applying martial law occurs, and Ferdinand Marcos declares martial law in 1972. Benigno Aquino Jr. founds Laban Party to challenge Marcos' dictatorial ways. The opposition is established in 1978. The events of February 25th, 1986 was celebrated as the EDSA revolutionary anniversary in the Philippines. The revolution restored democracy in the country. The EDSA revolution started on February 22nd, 1986 and concluded on February 25th of the same year. The Philippines celebrates EDSA People Power Revolution anniversary each year on February 25. If you happen to know of any democratic protests taking place near where you live, you might want to attend them on EDNA Revolution anniversary. It's a great way to honor the spirit of EDNA Revolution. Observations such as EDNA Revolution anniversary are a great way to remind yourself of your democratic rights. Do quick online research or read your country's constitution to find out what your rights as a citizen are. Not many people outside the Philippines know about the EDNA revolution. On EDNA revolution anniversary, take to your media to inform people about this remarkable revolution and the role it played in shaping modern history. The Westminster system of parliamentary democracy is followed by many former colonies. Some of these countries may function in combination with other systems. These are parliamentary democracy and presidential democracy. It comes from the Greek word demos, which translates to people. By the virtue of its population, India has the highest number of eligible voters. Revolutions led by the uncommon masses, such as EDNA revolution, make a good study. They are a testament to the grand achievements that are brought about by the common goals and faith in each other. EDNA Revolution anniversary is also a celebration of democracy and its values. Through such movements, people are reminded that democratic values such as freedom of speech and expressing opinions, are also basic human rights. EDNA Revolution anniversary has inspired generations of people who are fighting for fair, timely elections. It also encourages citizens to be unafraid and pursue of what is good and right. Today is also commemorated as the Day of Liberation and Innovation and is observed annually on February 25th in the Republic Day of Suriname, the smallest country in Southern America. On February 25th, 1980, the corrupt government in power at the time was overthrown in a military coup led by Sergeant Major Desi Bortis and 15 other military sergeants who refused to recognize it. This multi-ethnic tropical country is an ecotourism destination, offering spectacular natural landscape and friendly people. Formerly Revolution Day since 2018, the day is now officially known as the Day of Liberation and Innovation. Formerly Dutch Guyana, Suriname was a plantation colony belonging to the Netherlands and gained independence on November 25th, 1975. On February 25th, 1980, a military sergeant called the Desi Botis overthrew the corrupt government of Suriname in a violent coup as well as the sergeant's coup. Boteries, alongside 15 other military sergeants, called a group of 60, imposed a military dictatorship in the country. Boteries became the de facto leader and chairman of the ruling National Military Council of Suriname. On the day of the insurrection, soldiers shot at the central police station, then burned it down. It is not now known as Monument of the Revolution. The regime imposed an evening curfew and curtailed freedom of the press, allowing only one newspaper to publish under heavy censorship. From 1980 to 1988, a succession of military regimes followed. Voters installed titular presidents through, though he himself remained the de facto leader and control. The terrible rule, characterized by several human rights violations, lasted from 1980 to 1991. On December 7th and 8th, 1982, the worst of Botri's crimes occurred, called the December murders. 15 prominent men accused of criticizing Botri's military dictatorship or who had a connection to the coup d'etat attempt in March of that year were tortured and executed. The group included two lawyers and a journalist, just one of the Bote's many crimes. He ordered soldiers to carry out a massacre on the village of his opponents, killing innocent women and children. He was also convicted in absentia for trafficking cocaine in the Netherlands. In November 2019, Botes was convinced and sentenced to 20 years in prison for the December murders. He is appealing the conviction. Independence is achieved. Suriname gains independence from the Netherlands. The Serbian scope overthrows the government of Suriname. Revolution Day is changed to the Day of Liberation and Innovation in 2018. DC Botis is sentenced to 20 years imprisonment for what became known as the December murders in 2019. So no Suriname now practices a democratic unitary assembly independent republic. So it is no more a dictatorship. It now, as Suriname now practices a democratic unitary assembly, independent republic. The current president of Suriname is Chan Sanchoki, and Suriname is made of 27.4% Indo-Surinamese, 21.7% Maroon Bushanite, 15.7% Creole, 17.7% Javanese, 13.4% multiracial, 3.8% Amerindian, 1.5% Chinese, 0.3% European, and 1.9% others. Many lives were brutally taken down during military dictatorship led by Desi Botries. Let's honor those lost by maintaining a moment of silence. Suriname is just one of many countries that have been oppressed by militant dictators. In your own small way, speak out against injustice and oppression wherever you are in the world. Research the history and spread the word by telling others to outshare the article on social media. Suriname is located in the northern South America and is slightly larger than the US state of Georgia. Suriname is the smallest sovereign state in all of South America. Suriname has a population of approximately 5,75,000 people. The currency of Suriname is Surinamese dollar. The Suriname is a developing country with an economy mainly dependent on its abundant natural resources. Looking back on the past is a wise way to gain perspective and make better decisions for the future. The people of Suriname can consider past events and ensure that they bequeath a brighter and better future to future generations. Lives were lost and families were left bereaved by the December murders and other heinous crimes. This day is a day to remember and grieve with those who are left behind. Finally, today, the last commemoration of the day is Choisul Province Day in Solomon Islands. So, Choisul Province Day is celebrated in the Solomon Islands on February 25th every year. So, it is commemorated. It is commemorating the Choisul province broke away from the Western province. Choisul province is one of the 9 provinces of the Solomon Islands. It is also known as Lauru to native inhabitants. The province consists of 3 islands, Vejna, Joycel, Rob Roy. The day is celebrated as a public holiday through sports events, speeches, and a host of other public events that the people participate in wholeheartedly. Choisil province was the first populated by its native inhabitants who named the island Loro. Spanish explorer Alvaro de Manzana de Nero arrived in Loro in 1568 and renamed the island San Marcos due to the fact that he first spotted the island on the day of Saint Mark. The island was again renamed Choisul in 1768 by French explorer Louis Antoine de Bougainville. This renaming was done in the honor of the French Minister of Foreign Affairs, Etienne Francois Marquis de Stainville, Doug de Choiseul by 1881. The island was part of the German Solomon Islands. Later, or in 1899, the Germans ceded control over Choiseul to the British. thus rendering it as part of British Solomon Islands. The resident commissioner for the Solomon Islands, Charles Woodford, sailed to the Choiseul and hoisted the British flag there on August 23, 1900. During the Second World War, Northwest Choiseul was partly occupied by Japanese forces, though the US Marines raided their garrisons in October and November 1943. After World War II, the British Solomon Islands Proctorate was recognized into four districts: Central, Western, Eastern, and Malaita. The Solomon Islands gained independence from the British in 1978. The city of Oneira functioned as a national capital and still continues to do so on this day. On February 25th, 1995, Choiseul Province separated itself from the Western Province Choiseul Day. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Thank you.